Welcome back to Inktober. Let's dive right in. Here I'm showing you how I transfer my sketches onto the erasers, and it's surprisingly straightforward. All you need to do is trace a reversed version of your design, flip it over onto the rubber, then gently rub the backside using the end of a pen while keeping the paper in place, and then go over with a Sharpie to avoid losing the design during the carving process. I recently came across an alternative method on Instagram that I'm eager to try, but I'm currently without a printer. Now, as for my design, I went through several sketches before settling on this simple little guy. Initially, I attempted a chibi version of the wizard frogs from Adventure Time, and then later considered Jason Funderburker, but neither felt quite right. So after a couple different sketches, I came up with this adorable little guy. This also went through some various phases, not necessarily because it looked wrong, but because I couldn't decide what to draw. First it was a cracked mask, then a chipped teacup, and something else I can't remember, before I settled on the crystal shard from the dark crystal. Really, it could just be any old crystal, but that's the idea behind it. This Jim Henson film was always one of my favorites growing up. So much so, I once had a hamster named Fizzgig. I've had 2 hamsters in my life on this planet, and both of them suffered from a heat stroke before dying. Anyways, I grew up loving most things puppetry and scary, so this dark fantasy gem was bound to become a beloved memory of mine. I particularly loved the vast amount of creatures and plants that were created for the setting. I felt the overall dark tone was very fitting for an Inktober day. Next we have Fortune, and I must admit I didn't have a strong concept for this one. I considered drawing the teacup from Coraline, or even Miss Spink's hat with the eye, which reminded me of Bill Cipher. But ultimately I opted for a more straightforward crystal ball design. While I typically like to be more inventive with the prompts, sometimes it's okay to just go with something more direct, especially given my limited canvas size and the sheer amount of prompts in this challenge. As for Wander, it became evident that I was having a creative lull this week, and it was challenging to think outside the box. I brainstormed several ideas, but none really resonated with me. After one failed idea after another, I almost just gave up and chose a different prompt. And then I had a brainwave, and decided to draw a butterfly loosely inspired by the ones seen in Corpse Bride, another one of my childhood favorites. Butterflies often seem to just wander aimlessly, at least it seems that way to me. During the spring and summertime months, I enjoy sitting somewhere in the shade watching them flutter on by, occasionally stopping for a drink or to sniff the itty-bitty flowers, stretching their little wings towards the sunshine. Makes me wish for a simpler time, or at least to be as carefree as a little butterfly. Now, originally I had a different design in mind, but decided against it last minute. So instead, I decided to make some clothes for our little toad friend. I really liked the idea of making him some costume accessories for Halloween. Perhaps it's just fondness for my witchy little creations that I call familiars, which just so happened to drop today. In the shadowy depths of my cryptic abode, I invite you to acquaint yourself with my enchanting familiars. These peculiar companions are relics steeped in the rich tapestry of time, suffused with bespoke artistry. Within the dim recesses of realms unseen, you will encounter the following inhabitants. The first to be found is Jack. Garbed in a black and white lacy ruffle, he exudes an air of sophistication while being slightly clumsy. His interests lie in ancient tomes, the serenity of nature, and the relentless march of time. Next we have Jalopy, adorned with lace and bows and a heart-shaped emblem on her arm. Her true charm lies in her pursuit of elegance, love for tea, literature, and all things beautiful. On to the amphibious duo, we have Walter Wart, who dons burnt orange corduroy skin and boasts a plethora of warts. His unmistakable grumpiness often belies a secret appreciation for the hats fashioned by his companion Willa. Willa Wart, who's polished in pink, possesses a unique flair for crafting, especially hats, which keeps the family's wardrobe in impeccable order with her nimble fingers. And finally, the vagabond rat. Rascal dons a harlequin's patchwork attire of black and red. His temper and agility alludes to a mysterious past, perhaps tied to a sinister circus of sorts. Though insane, he's sure to put a smile on your face. My familiars do not cater to the whims of mere children. They are keepers of secrets, enigmas unto themselves, and are bound by a deeper purpose, graced with tales that are unique to themselves. Forged with unwavering dedication, these enigmatic entities are intended for discerning collectors who appreciate the extraordinary. They are a realm apart, meant to embellish your existence with something profoundly whimsical. Despite my want to throw them from rooftops for all to have, I simply cannot give them away. Due to their intricately crafted and limited nature, each familiar comes at a price befitting their intrinsic value. Draped in a shroud of secrets yet to be unveiled, these entities eagerly await your embrace. Do not let this moonrise pass, for they can only be conjured once, and often vanish before they are found. On the fateful eve of Friday the 13th, my familiars shall be available for pre-order, culminating in an enchanting convergence on All Hallows Eve, readily awaiting to be your otherworldly companion. Will you set them free? What rises? The sun, bread dough, bubbles, prices for literally everything. What about birds? They rise with the flight of their wings, and it seems pretty on brand here. Better yet, what about a bird that rises to power? Yep, that's the thought process behind this little guy. And honestly, I'm not mad about it. I mean, look at him. He's adorable. Little King Crow, you. This one is by far my favorite, and he will definitely be making guest appearances in the future. Heck, if I didn't already have a logo, I'd make him the king of the company. I trust that he'd look after all the shiny things. Ending the week off in a semi-fail. This design is loosely modeled after cathedral windows. It wasn't the best result. I messed up on one of the sparkles and it's now half non-existent, but hey, things happen. Maybe I'll redo it someday. Probably not though. Alrighty friends, thanks for watching, and if you're interested in my familiars, they are live on my shop. And as always, a huge thank you to all of my patrons who make this all possible. If you or someone you know want to become a member, you know what to do.